Good morning. So, this morning we are talking about death. Who isn't worried about that? Really few people. Really few people have been able to overcome the fear of death. Some might be naturally unafraid to die, but the majority is afraid of something that it's inevitable. And it's quite, I found that over the years, while working harder to try to understand more what it's life about, and only found a few maybe potential answers. I started to overcome that concern and slowly figured out that that is inevitable, that I was concerning about something that is gonna happen, and I realized that I was concerning about something that it was it was all together with the day I was born, because basically we were born to die. So now I can say that I'm not afraid to die. I'm not saying that I'm not, concerning a bit sometimes, what is gonna be after, but I don't care. I honestly, I don't care. I reach a point where, at the moment, that I'm not facing that, because obviously I don't know how I will feel when I will be there, knowing that I will be dying anytime soon. But now I can say that I did overcome that worry. I'm only concerning about not concern. Okay, I would say I'm a more worried about feeling pain and suffering and die. But I'm not anymore worried, and I don't care anymore if I go to sleep and never wake up. So that feeling doesn't bother me anymore, because I've been working hard to become more mindful, and worked hard to try to understand what all my existence and everybody's existence it's all about. As I said, I haven't found the answers, but I found that the one understanding that all it's basically just but an illusion, and become conscious of this somehow made me not worry about one day passing away. We, at least in my generation, and probably new generation even more, we have been basically stripped away of the thought of the idea of dying. So we've been so fully immersed to this sort of called like life reality, have to do things in a certain way that basically, like society made us forget that we are born with a deadline. We were born with a deadline set by default, that is death. So all is concentrated, all have been now, if it's been done with by design, or it's just the way like humans are programmed. I don't know, I won't say. But obviously, we've been just bombarded in a daily basis since young age about only the living, all about what we should do in this society or what we should do in another society, because every society has their own rules about what life is about, that we forgot and we always remember that we gonna die inevitably when we are ill, seriously ill, or when we are old. And not being prepared about that inevitability that is there, it really drove most of us crazy and insane. But again, it feels that it's kind of like by design, but the system that raised us, because one of the most powerful tool of control is death, the fear of death. And when people are so afraid to die, they're willing to do everything that is being told. They are willing to let other people dying, slaughtered, suffering, you know, accept they will allow the worst atrocity toward other people if they are afraid that they might die. It's been used as a tool of control for centuries, at least, like from what we know, or what we've been taught about history, or what we read from other sources. Religion use that fear of death to control people, telling them that if they did not behave how their God wanted, they would go to the hell and they would suffer for the rest of their life. And that's was one of the way how people would keep it under control. While now it's slightly different. The religion is still playing a big role, but now you have, the propaganda of the authors coming and taking everything from you, like the propaganda, of fear of they are coming, they're gonna kill you because they're bad. So that fear has been used to control people, and as wars have been used to control people, they are the enemy. If they come, they're all gonna be enslaved, all gonna suffer, everybody gonna die, and we accepted to send people to wars and killing other human being like us. I mean, all around the world there are wars, and people die on a daily basis. We have wars in Russia and Ukraine. We have wars in Yemen and Saudi Arabia. We have a dictatorship in Myanmar. We have a civil war in Sudan. We have a war in Palestine, with Palestine and Israel. I can go on and on and on. There are civil war in Congo. There are dictators killing people in North Korea, and in so many other countries. And we are indifferent. We have been made indifferent, and we are indifferent of it because it's not touching us. With a few years ago, with the start of the Ukraine war, everybody was freaking out because they thought that war would spread all around Europe, and everybody was so concerned about it that all of a sudden everybody were like a pacifist. Everybody wanted peace, and that's because the fear of death started to be felt very close. People are, conditioned, indoctrinated, and controlled, and because our society disconnected us, we tend to not care and keep going on with our lives, even knowing that there are people dying and suffering somewhere else in the world. And the moment that the feeling that something could happen this time where we are, obviously it takes out all that fear of death and automatically the need wanting to be in peace. Wars are a tool of control. Like a lot of these new wars, especially the one that the propaganda media keep talking about, like Ukraine and Russia, Israel and Palestine, are for me created by the sun, started by design, with one reason and one motivation: keep people in fear and let them accept anything. So more control and more and less freedom, more surveillance, more restriction, and people are willing to accept that because it's the fear of death. Remember, like when the Twin Towers blew up, and then they blamed the terrorists, the Muslim terrorists, personally, all by design. It was all decided. The Twin Towers, the plane, was all an internal job. But that was used to then control and surveilling all the people in the world. Look at now, all our data, can be spied, can be collected by government with the excuse that is for security reason. Look what happened during the so-called COVID pandemic, another tool of fear created by design. Everybody accepted the everything, lockdown, forced to stay in the house, forced to to stay in a certain radius area. Look at what we accepted, the COVID passport. We accepted to be locked inside our town, or even worse, houses like in our country, because there was a so-called viruses that could so-called virus that could kill everyone, and we accept that without even questioning if any of this made any sense. It did not, because all you need to do is to create a scary situation where people that are being basically made to forget that they're gonna die. So they made people. You created a situation where fear is so big, with the possibility to die tomorrow, that you will accept everything, and they will accept even to let their neighbors, even part of some of their family, die, to not have to be the one to die. And this is the reality. When there was people that didn't get vaccinated, I didn't get the vaccine. There was a point where they're pushing against people that didn't get vaccine, and they would come after us. If they did push a bit more, if at some point they would start to create stories that I don't know, people like us would be a danger for the society, and they would really pushing hard. They would come after us. They would beat us up to death, guarantee. As this already happened when the media were pushing against Muslim terrorism, that there was no Muslim terrorism, there was no Islam terrorism in UK. It was all created by design. But that propaganda, that pushing against the Muslim, created eventually you got people killing Muslims. There was people in London. There was a guy in London with a man draw inside a mosque, killing kids and people. That's what the fear of death can do. And that's because we have been made to forget that we're gonna die. So we're holding so much on this temporary existence. Even if it's this temporary existence, it's so painful as we can see, working hard, diseases, unfairness. Even if this is already painful enough, but the fear of not being here anymore, eventually they can make us do the worst. They can make us accept the worst. Like we already do it. Look what's happening in Sudan. People are dying. Look what's happening all around the world. Like obviously I can mention what you can see already on the media. There is a reason why they're pushing only some certain type of conflicts, completely ignoring the many others, because that's the one that they're using, or that they actually created in purpose to create all this now state of fear and emergency that we're experiencing with all those new law restrictions and so on. So even all of this is already painful, we still accept that, because the fear of dying, is even bigger than what we experience now, of the suffering we're experiencing right now. And it's insane, because we were born to die, and we will. And once you start to do, you start to work toward trying to understand and to overcome this fear, you will not accept any of this bullshit that we are forced, to, it's forced on us by an insane system. You will not accept any of their rules and law and restriction, because you will not give a shit, because I'm gonna die tomorrow. If you were not afraid to die, and you would understand that we're all the same with the same ending game, you will not accept, probably most of us will not accept that some psychopath will send other human beings like us to kill other human beings like us. You will not accept that. You will refuse and block it, and refuse to accept that other human beings will go and kill other human beings just because they told us that they are the enemy and they might kill us. Because we are not afraid to die anymore. So why I should be afraid to die if they kill me? And that's the reason why we have countries, so that the idea of the other, of someone different than us, is even reinforced. Oh, they are different country, they are different culture, they are different race. So everything is created to divide us. Or they are from a different city, they are different border. you create diversity, you create differences, you fabricate those differences, and to push someone against another, it's easier. Everything is by design. All the wars, everything is already planned, everybody's already organized. All the immigration we've been seeing toward the countries, as myself, I'm an immigrant in UK, and then all the propaganda against the immigrants, it's all by design. So you put one against each other, and you are too busy fighting each other because you're afraid to die, and the one that created all of this is enjoying all their freedom, their fun. The very people on the very top, they don't have a passport. Border doesn't exist for them. They move freely. They created those borders for us. We are free-range chickens walking around in big space. They give you a piece of paper that reinforces that identity. And when the moment they tell us that our neighbor are the enemy, we will accept, majority of us, to go and kill them because we are so afraid to die. They created the fear, they created the divisions. They know that when you indoctrinate a baby from when they're a baby, when they reach my age, that they're 40s, you don't have to do anything anymore. The program is there. They will go by default. They will even fight for their enslavement. We are fighting for working harder. As if to work hard like a slave, confined inside an imaginary border, is something to be proud of. So the moment you can indoctrinate a baby, once he's an adult, he doesn't know that he's a slave. He will think, if you indoctrinate them to think they are free, but actually they are enslaved, they will fight thinking to be free, to maintain their enslavement. It's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. It's fucking insane. And more you go to try to understand what this is all about, like our existence and our lives, and more you realize that we are no much more than a software. We're just a self-learning software. We have been giving certain programs, certain like input, and then we are learning on the go. And you realize that we are here, and we don't know. We are here, basically, or we know, or we think to know. It's all about circumstances. It's all about circumstances that we did not control, and all we have learned is because our internal software is programmed to absorb the informations, and then in any interactions we have with people, the environment, and everything else, it gives us other informations that then we use, thinking to be us, same as the ego, that I, that makes us believe and think that we make any decision. We don't. Look at my face. I did not choose this face. the land I grew up. I didn't choose it or any of this. But all of this, it's used to make you identify with this body, this face, this personality. And next, you make people forget that, or you make them busy enough to forget that they are gonna die. And they're gonna basically do anything that has been told them so that they can protect this illusion that is the I am, and this illusion of preserving something that it's was born to decay and to die. And I feel that once you start to understand this, and obviously that is when you start to you unplug from the system and you start to do a more, like, I use spiritual because like it's the easiest to explain it and to make people understand. When you go into a spiritual journey, you start to reach a point where you actually wish to die, because you are not any longer afraid of death, and you can see clearly how all of this is a pure, insane madness that you kind of like, I prefer to die than keep, going through all of this. Now, I'm not saying in a sad way, but I'm just saying that once, like, the fear of death is overcome, like, you're not gonna go through life in the same way the majority does. And, and at time that maybe you're tired, or you're just like spiritually tired, it's like, oh, I really prefer to die, so, to finish all of this. And there's no like, even like, in a depressing way, it's just like a thought, because you just see death for what it is, just part of this existence. You see it as as to be born, because probably there is not such a thing as a death and as a reborn, and it's just all together. So there is no other way. The first step is to accept the fact you were born to die, and then slowly, I believe that we slowly start to realize that we are all the same. We are a collective of souls going through a fantasy. And I feel that as you become conscious of this, all you want is that everyone, included us, can be happy in peace until the end. Namaste. Pizza, pasta, and love. Talk to you next time.